All right, so this is a suggestion via a donation. Now, the name of the video is Ohio Senator raises alarm over corporate investors potentially jeopardizing middle-class housing. Let's get it, guys. Yeah, that's a fact. Ohio specifically, I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, the states that are probably gonna have the most issues with this coming up are going to be Ohio. I don't mean to smile, guys, because it's crazy if you live there, right? If you live in any of these places. But St. Louis, Memphis, Tennessee, the area surrounding Pittsburgh, right? And Cleveland, Ohio. And the reason why, your property is way too cheap. Okay? You have people that are like completely getting sick of honestly being broke. The stock market is interesting right now, right? But we do know, coming from like the investing side of it at least, what we do know is it's extremely lucrative right now to buy up all these properties. Is it absolutely to the detriment of the people living there? It is. It will always be, unfortunately, right? That's unfortunately the society we live in. And, you know, I'm not saying this is a really good thing. I understand that it's terrible for the people living there. What we need to do is make all of, either we need to build more property for more people to be in, and we can actually bring the price of houses down nationwide, right? That'll be terrible for the investors, but it will be better for the overall overwhelming majority of the population, right? So if you guys are selling houses for almost nothing, guys, like, matter of fact, hold on, guys. If you live anywhere in the United States of America, look at these prices, okay? Obviously, these homes are extremely, like, distressed. You're going to have to probably double your overall investment. But imagine running into a house that is sitting on nine acres, right? 9 acres, $17,000. You know you're going to have to obviously fix the entire. Oh, this one's really bad, bro. Hold on. This one is bad. This one is bad. But basically, you got to get what I'm saying here, guys. You got to go in there. You're going to have to invest. I would say in this one here, looking at it, 60. I say you're gonna have to put in about 60, but if it's sitting on 9 acres, I'm gonna get that back. Right. So imagine you're $70,000 in on this piece of property, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna instantly mortgage it. That's what I'm gonna do. If I was to go in on this property right here in Cleveland, I would mortgage it. Obviously, I would have to look at the street view to make sure that it's not like in the hood, right? The street actually looks semi clean. The surrounding areas, these people are taking care of their grass. You get what I'm saying here? So it tells me that the area is probably decent, right? I'd go into here. I'd look at property history. No, the neighborhood. Apologies. I look at neighborhood and see what these houses are selling for in the area. 110, 119 on the same street. Yeah, like 119. Right. So what I would instantly do is I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put 60 in there and then probably sell that house, or not even sell it because it's so cheap. I'd rent it. Right. And so now imagine coming in without kind of that knowledge overall. Right. You're going to get stuck in areas where these houses are super cheap, specifically for everyone outside of this area. Right. Imagine you coming from California where you just sold, honestly, some nonsense for $1 million, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the East Coast where the houses are much affordable. Let's say you go to like the Charleston market, but the Metro Charleston market, not like living on any of the islands like Mount Pleasant, etc. Right? You can buy a house in Charleston for maybe, bro, 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. And now you have nothing but pure profit sitting in your bank, okay? After selling your nonsense house, basically. And I mean that, for like $1.5 million coming from California, right? And what are you gonna do? Hopefully you're smart enough to invest in areas. And what's happening is all of these people that are coming from like California, New York, like these super high wage earning places, they're going to these distressed areas, buying up all this property and then renting it, because that's unfortunately the smartest thing to do with your money, specifically if the stock market is the way it is. You're basically turning into like your own very specific BlackRock in a sense, guys. Not to make jokes about that, obviously, right? But Cleveland very specifically is just crazy as a place to overall invest in, right? So I can only imagine that Cleveland is stressing. Not just Cleveland, no. Cleveland, Pittsburgh area is also flooded with houses under 30. So if you just want a quick investment, they're flooded with houses under 30 that need work. And then you have Memphis, Tennessee, which is the same. I would honestly stay away from this market because rent is an issue if you want to actually collect rent on time in places like this, guys. Property type, single family. Just a tip. Right. Obviously this is not financial advice. You get what I'm saying here, guys, but I would definitely stay away from that market. And then Missouri. And here, there's a lot of them. And again, I would also stay away from this market completely. Right. But if you do want a quick flip, that's where they are. But either way, that's the point, guys. I know people are struggling to make ends meet, while there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be making a lot of money next year coming up. I know it, guys. The 19 took hold of our economy in a way that wrecked us, guys. It wrecked us. It wrecked everyone. It basically is about to widen the gap between the haves and have-nots, guys. It is. Like, factually, it's going. That's exactly what's going to happen. Give it to 2025, you'll honestly instantly see, based off of all the charts, how they're looking. Things are honestly no longer sustainable. Right, job losses are coming up soon. Student loans are coming up again soon, guys. People just can't afford this nonsense, and the gap is about to be widened to a way that is sad. Seriously. But let's go ahead and jump into this video, guys. I'm sorry to stop instantly, but I just need to show you guys exactly how crazy things actually are in Cleveland, and the reason why things are going so hard. Honestly, in Cleveland, they're going super hard. Home age 1, minimum of 1 year, and that's how you find them. 30,000 single family, and then and that's how you easily find all of these super distressed homes. If that's what you're trying to do. But a lot of these investors are literally running in here and buying up these, and like BlackRock specifically is going for like these though, right? They're doing like 70 to 100 or maybe 150 or so, right? This is not your common mom and pop like investor. BlackRock specifically is going for these single family homes that are not distressed, right? But they're in an area where they're cheap, right? $135,000, buy it, rent it. They're buying up all of the single family homes, but so are the other investors that are buying all the lesser ones. So let's get it, guys. Let's go ahead and jump to this video just for some context. Let's get it.
They say out of town and out of state investors are buying up Ohio homes just as soon as they hit the market and then renting them to you.
ABC 6 on your side. Problem solver Lisa Rontola took a road trip to Cincinnati to talk to one state senator who's trying to turn this trajectory around. Lisa, what did you hear?
Stacia, Bob, just take a look at the state of Ohio. We're in a hole of about 250,000 homes to meet current housing demands. And until we can build, the spotlight is on who is buying. And according to the Pew Research Group, institutional or out-of-town investors are hitting Ohio hard. They bought nearly 33,000 single-family homes, which was about 21% of the home sales in 2021, and that number was twice as much as the year before.
There were people still living in this house up until about 2 weeks before we moved in.
With retirement just a few years away,
this was like our, okay, we'll take it house.
School teacher Teresa Foster and her husband decided to downsize before relocating to Iowa.
So I've never been in a house, that the stair steps are in the middle.
So they sold their $375,000 home in Thornville and looked for a home to rent.
We looked in subdivisions in Canal. We looked in subdivisions in Pickerington.
Even under different names, Teresa tells me she found every home she looked into linked back to Nevada-based corporation, American Homes for Rent.
Seemed like almost any subdivision that was a house, a home, was owned by American Homes for Rent.
Yeah.
What did that tell you?
Or home partners.
That they had a monopoly.
According to AMH's first quarter earnings report, it owns more than 2,000 homes in Columbus, nearly 2,000 more in Cincinnati. This is part of the more than 50,000 homes it owns across the U.S. The executives of the company posted a video to investors on their website.
We're maximizing the returns to our investors.
Also online, American Homes for Rent highlights an increase in rent and other single-family property revenues of 11% to bring in nearly $400 million for the first quarter of this year.
I think that, we're at their mercy.
Oh, no.
And if they want to raise rent, they're going to raise rent, because where else are we going to go?
All right, guys, just a really quick glance, right, guys? So they're definitely giving dividends similar to like what Pepsi does, actually. So their dividends are solid. Their overall price, their stock price has shot up, bro. It is up. It opened 5 years ago at $21.92, and it is currently at $35. There are a lot of people investing into this here, guys, and there are definitely people that are waiting to get their return from it. So the only way to stop this is to stop these, right? I definitely would not say, don't stop the mom and pops, right? Like, let's say you very specifically want to get into like the real estate investing game. If that's your thing, right? Go for it, obviously. But I think we need to stop these, right? This is what's ruining the housing stock, guys. It's not that the houses aren't there. Understand that. It's that they're not for sale, guys. They're not for sale. Because these instead of investing in the stock market, everyone is now investing into real estate. These gigantic companies.
Teresa is now paying $23.50 a month for this Etna home, which AMH bought for $213,000 in 2019. Her own mortgage for an even bigger house was less than $1,800 before she sold.
Do you think we're in a crisis?
I do think we're in a crisis. I think and the worst part about it is a very slow-moving crisis.
State Senator Bill Blessing out of Hamilton County is now trying to crack down on out-of-state investors who buy, own, and rent out homes in Ohio by the thousands.
Do you want to live in a world where home ownership is dying?
He is proposing to levy a tax of $1,500 a month per property for any entity that owns more than 50 single, double, or triple family homes in one single county.
Yes, do that. Absolutely. More than 50? Bro, more than 10. Guys, listen, stop playing. These companies should not be owning all of these properties. I understand the investors, the dividends. I get it. I understand. The stock market is interesting, right? I get it. But still, partners.
That they have a monopoly.
According to AMH's first quarter earnings report, it owns more than 2,000 homes in Columbus, nearly 2,000 more in Cincinnati. This is part of the more than 50,000 homes it owns across the U.S. The executives of the company posted a video to investors on their website.
We're maximizing the returns to our investors.
Also online, American Homes for Rent highlights an increase in rent and other single-family property revenues of 11% to bring in nearly $400 million for the first quarter of this year.
I think that, we're at their mercy.
Oh, no.
And if they want to raise rent, they're going to raise rent, because where else are we going to go?
All right, guys, just a really quick glance, right, guys? So they're definitely giving dividends similar to like what Pepsi does, actually. So their dividends are solid. Their overall price, their stock price has shot up, bro. It is up. It opened 5 years ago at $21.92, and it is currently at $35. Yeah, there are a lot of people investing into this here, guys, and there are definitely people that are waiting to get their return from it. So, the only way to stop this is to stop these, right? I definitely would not say don't stop the mom and pops, right? Like, let's say you very specifically want to get into like the real estate investing game. If that's your thing, right? Go for it, obviously. But I think we need to stop these, right? This is what's ruining the housing stock, guys. It's not that the houses aren't there. Understand that. It's that they're not for sale, guys. They're not for sale. Because these instead of investing in the stock market, everyone is now investing into real estate. These gigantic companies.
Teresa is now paying $23.50 a month for this Etna home, which AMH bought for $213,000 in 2019. Her own mortgage for an even bigger house was less than $1,800 before she sold.
Do you think we're in a crisis?
I do think we're in a crisis. I think and the worst part about it is a very slow-moving crisis.
State Senator Bill Blessing out of Hamilton County is now trying to crack down on out-of-state investors who buy, own, and rent out homes in Ohio by the thousands.
Do you want to live in a world where homeownership is dying?
He is proposing to levy a tax of $1,500 a month per property for any entity that owns more than 50 single, double, or triple family homes in one single county.
Yes, do that. Absolutely. More than 50? Bro, more than 10. Guys, listen, stop playing. These companies should not be owning all of these properties. I understand you the investors, the dividends. I get it. I understand. The stock market is interesting, right? I get it. But still, this should not exist.
Would then be forced to sell. These properties would then go back into homeowners' hands.
He's also calling for transparency of knowing who operates an LLC at the point of a home purchase.
It's not a difficult business model to understand. Try to get the property as cheaply as possible with a cash offer and avoid an appraisal at all costs. Evict any current tenants who are not paying the highest rate the market will bear.
His own constituents are battling Texas-based corporation Vinebrook Homes, which he says owns close to 4,000 properties in Hamilton County under 90 different LLCs.
The number of properties in Colerain Township, close to 28,000. And here's how it breaks down. According to Hamilton County, the state of Ohio, Vinebrook, and the township itself owns the most properties in Colerain Township. Vinebrook coming in number 2 with about 515 properties.
A lot of times they'll buy these things in a large package. So you'll see 20 houses on the auditor's website that all went in one day.
One Vinebrook Homes renter we spoke with in Colerain Township.
Like, there are a lot of people that will put together packages of homes for sale. Like in the Southeast, you'll see a lot of those in like the city of Macon, where you can literally spend, for example, they'll be like, oh, listen, I'm selling this house here for 60, but if you take all 4 of these houses, I'll sell them to you for $275. Those are the type of deals you generally will run into, guys. So like, this is uncommon. This is not uncommon, but for like larger entities such as these, 20, 30, 50, 100 houses at one time. Yeah.
Did not want to be identified.
Our rent was supposed to be like $1,250.
And at this point, she told me there's no way she can buy a home of her own.
Right. Just kind of climbing out of poverty. Right. That's what you're doing. You're targeting that very specific area where people need the most help. And what you're doing is you're taking advantage of that. Right. It's like these pawn shops and these payday loans that just plague areas, right? Same thing, no difference, bro. But instead, you're now making it harder for, like, honestly, anyone under $100,000. If you make less than $100,000, the chance of you being able to honestly live and like, I'll say 80. Let's say 80, because you're gonna have to live and then save for the down payment for the house and closing costs, right? And if you're a first-time home buyer, you're probably going to try to get an FHA, and the seller may not like that, guys, right? because that comes with like appraisals and things like that, guys. There are going to be some issues that you're going to run into. Like, how are you able to? Well, luckily with the FHA, you could probably do like a 3.5 down payment, but the closing costs are still going to be absolutely crazy, right? It's going to be the percentage of whatever is left off that loan. The appraisal is only going to give you the amount of money that's going to only cover what they basically appraise, right? So up to the percentage of whatever your down payment was, right? So like 95% or so, something like that, guys. So there are a couple of issues here. People can't afford to live, specifically buy a house, not anymore, with all these companies coming in and honestly propping up the market. Right? That's the reason why the houses are so expensive. I don't think that they're probably going to ever go down until a lot of these companies are either outlawed or they just have to kind of get rid of their overall stock, right? Like if they do a big drop of properties onto the market, maybe. Also, get rid of home partners, guys. I understand that it has the ability to help a lot of people, but it's complete terrible. Okay, so home partners, very specifically, you can call them, for example. Let's say you see a house on Realtor or Zillow or whatever website you're looking at to look at properties. You're like, oh, I like this house. You call them, they basically will go out and offer a cash, as long as you are approved to be able to pay the rent, right? What they will do is they will approve you. They'll go and buy the house with a cash offer, okay? Then rent it to you. Then they're going to give you 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, whatever it is, to basically pay for that house. If you go through this process, I want you to literally look at how much they sell the house for to you every year. Right, you're gonna start noticing that the house is gonna go up maybe 10-20% in the actual price of the house that they're trying to sell you, along with your rent going up every single year until you buy that property from them. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have the ability to just say, "Listen, I don't really want to buy this house anymore. I'm gonna leave." Right? See if you find a better deal, so you can do that. But now that house is now a rental. Right? So the house, your dream house that you wanted, that you thought you were going to buy, that you could get approved for, now you can no longer be approved for it because you stayed renting it for too long, and your debt to income or your overall income cannot sustain, allegedly, the price of the house, even though your mortgage is going to be lower than the price of rent you were paying. So that's where we are right now, guys. Right now we are in a country that is saying you cannot afford to buy a house. No. But you can afford to rent for, at times, 30 to 40% more. You can afford to rent, but you cannot afford to buy for less. That's where we are right now, guys. We need to fix that. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day, and enjoy your day thoroughly.